Trina Hawkins is a very proud daughter to an amazing mom, a proud sister to a phenomenal brother, an aunt, a business owner, but most importantly, a child of God, an evangelist, and a survivor. My rock bottom was the day that I wanted to take my life. I remember saying that today was going to be the day, because I was tired. I was in a marriage that was full of alcohol and abuse. And a lot of people didn't know that, because I got up every day and I put on my makeup and I combed my hair and I put on my heels and I clutched my purse. I drove out of my nice neighborhood in my nice car and I went to work. But nobody knew what I went through behind closed doors. And I just had had enough. And I just wanted to die. And I remember that day just wanting to go on 610, exit the ramp, full speed, let my hands off the wheel, close my eyes, and let whatever happened, happen. I just didn't want to live anymore. The day that I wanted to take my life was my rock bottom moment. You know, my relationship with God at that time was kind of rocky. I mean, I grew up in church. I went Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I was in church all the time. My grandfather had 5 churches. We were Kojic. I was in the house all the time. Church was in me. I knew God. And I had a relationship with him. But I struggled because I couldn't understand how a God that said he loved me so much could allow me to experience so much pain. And so my trust in him wasn't as strong as it was at one time. I think the moment for me that I decided to live and move on with my life was when I had to really go back and pull from those seeds that had been sown as a child. I knew that God loved me. I knew that there was purpose for my life, even though I was going through what I was going through. And I knew that that had to be stronger than what I was going through. And when I made up my mind to allow God to do what he needed to do in all of this, that's the moment when I decided that I gotta live, because this is not just for me. I'm living for somebody else. I think those experiences, the marriage, me wanting to commit suicide, those were the things that really made me realize that I did want to change, because I knew that's not who I really was. You know, it was important for me to live the life that I knew I was destined for. I didn't really know what it was, but I knew I would never find out if I made the decisions that I was thinking about making. It was really important to me to know that how I grew up and what I had been through, it had to be for something. I knew that I didn't go through all of that for nothing. And I was curious. I wanted to see where it led. As a child, I was molested. That kind of really just messed me up, because when the predator is someone who's supposed to love you, and then you already have a father who's not very active in your life, it's really heartbreaking that the man who took over the role of that would violate his position. I think not having my father strongly in my life was already setting me up for some things. I dealt with rejection at an early age. Now as an adult, I understand I dealt with abandonment because I felt like that's what my father did, because he wasn't really active. And then to have someone who you thought loved you violate you, that was damaging. So I carry that a lot into my older years. It shaped a lot of relationships I was in, a lot of choices that I made, a lot of people that I picked. It really messed me up. I found myself being what others needed me to be for them, but not what I needed to be for myself, because I was so, I just wanted to fill that void, and whatever fill that void, I didn't care what it felt like or what it brought. I just wanted to fill that void. And it's so funny because I always said, I'll never pick anybody who reminds me of my father. I'll never pick anybody who reminds me of him. And those were the very men that I always chose. Wow. Yeah. I realized it was time to choose different after my last relationship. That relationship really changed me because, you know, I came out of a marriage with abuse and alcohol and different things, and so I ended up in a new relationship, and I thought this was going to be a lot better because it was a lot better than the one I was in. You know, that's the crazy thing. When you've had bad, it's easy to think that this over here is a lot better because at least they're not doing that. But that stems from the fact that I was broken. And when you're broken, you're really vulnerable. And a lot of things that would not be okay are okay. And you're blinded by a lot of things. And for me, I stayed in this relationship for a long time because I felt like the things that were wrong in it, it would be okay because it wasn't like what I dealt with before. And once that relationship ended and the things that I experienced through that, a lot of hurt and a lot of pain, I then realized that you got to do something different. And what I meant by that is stop making the choice of who you think you should be with and let God decide who is going to be in your life. But the main thing was I needed to heal properly first. And that's what I wasn't doing. I wasn't taking care of Trina because I was so busy taking care of everybody else and what they needed, what their hurts, what their pains were. That's what was important to me, not me. And the moment that I realized that I was just as important, actually the priority, that's when I changed. And I said, God, no more of this. All I want is more of you. I only want you to be the man in my life. And God, what comes from that comes from that. And from that moment on, which I will admit is more recently now, because I still was trying to fill that void, realizing that the void that needed to be filled came from God, not a man. And that's when real change came from me. Man, my relationship with God. I love God so much. He's everything. Hands down, everything to me. I mean, he's my best friend. He is my sustainer. He's been my healer. He has been my door financially. I mean, God, everything that I thought came with a man, that's what God is. That's what he'll always be. Nobody's ever going to be what God is in my life. And I'll never again put a man in the place where God should be. And God knows, he's like, I love G.O.D. Like, we roll. I don't go anywhere without him. I start with him. I end with him. We talk. I talk to him like I'm talking to my girls. I talk to him like I talk to dudes. Like, I love God. Like, that's my dog. Me and G.O.D. Love him. And that's never gonna change. Oh man. The process. I never thought I would enjoy the process, but I actually do enjoy the process. The process has been tedious, but it's been amazing. And what I do during the process is that every day I saturate myself with worship. I am a worshiper. I start my morning with worship. I have worship on at the job. I have my own employees listening to gospel. I love worship. I go to bed with worship. I saturate myself with the word. I like to hear the word on TV. I mean, I like to listen to it in the car. I mean, I'm not saying that this is just everything that I do all day, but that is the biggest part of the way I begin and the biggest part of the way I end. And worship what has made it a lot easier to get through these times, because worship for me puts me in such a presence with him that I just feel his peace and nothing else matters. And that's an amazing feeling. Oh my goodness. What am I most excited about? I'm just excited about life, because I've finally gone through that healing process, and God is removing the residue of the old. And as he continues to remove the residue, man, I just feel like just this new creature, which he says. And I'm excited about what God's going to do in my life. I'm excited about what God's going to do in ministry. I'm excited about that godly man. Because I know he's going to do it all, because he's going to restore. That's what he does. And he's going to give me double. So if he's going to give me double, you know it's going to be greater than what I had. And I just can't wait to see. Like, I just light up now about life. And I remember one time I couldn't smile about life. Straight talk, woman talk is really my favorite word, as you see. Amazing. I met Porshea at church, and the first time I met her, we just clicked. She just has a beautiful spirit, and I loved her spirit. And I really didn't know too much about the straight talk, woman talk until recently, and I listened to the talks that they do, the call-in. I listened to the different filmings that women have been doing. I was like, wow, it's amazing that all these different women resemble a part of me. And we come from different backgrounds, different places. We have different parents, but I could relate. So for me, straight talk, woman talk is, how do you put something so great in words? Because it gives a platform for people like me who want to take what they've been through and know that they went through it for somebody else, because God doesn't give you anything that he knows that you can't handle. Because the thing about it is, he's going to give it to you and he's going to heal you. But then he's going to allow you to take that and then give it to somebody else. We go through things, or I know I did, in order to teach someone how to handle it. So maybe they don't have to go through it the way I did, or it'll be a little bit easier. So for me, Straight Talk Woman Talk has been a great platform to say, hey, you're not by yourself. I understand how you feel, but if I can make it, so can you. I am Trina Hawkins. I am a survivor. I am God's chosen. I am one of the 333. Come meet me January 16th at Straight Talk Woman Talk Intensive. I look forward to meeting you.